Hello, knowledge seekers. In this episode of 20-Minute Books, we delve into The Fearless Organization by Amy C. Edmondson, published in 2018 by John Wiley & Sons, Inc. This insightful book is a comprehensive exploration of psychological safety within the workplace and its pivotal role in fostering an environment where everyone feels empowered to contribute their best ideas. Edmondson, a distinguished professor of leadership and management at the Harvard Business School and a globally recognized thought leader, draws on over 2 decades of research into psychological safety, organizational learning, and leadership. Her expertise is well documented, with numerous publications in prominent journals and multiple acclaimed books to her name. The Fearless Organization sheds light on the critical barriers that prevent individuals from sharing their ideas at work, analyzing the detrimental impact this silence has on innovation and business success. It argues passionately for a shift towards a culture of openness, where questioning and experimentation are not just tolerated, but encouraged, paving the way for continuous learning and groundbreaking innovation. This book is an essential read for forward-thinking leaders who aspire to unlock the full potential of innovation and learning within their organizations. Human resources managers determined to maximize their talent pool and team players eager to contribute to a supportive and dynamic workplace will find invaluable insights and strategies in these pages. Join us as we explore how making your organization fearless can transform the way work is done, leading to unprecedented levels of success and fulfillment. The Fearless Organization: Creating Psychological Safety in the Workplace for Learning, Innovation, and Growth. Introduction: Creating a Culture of Trust. How psychological safety boosts workplace performance. In today's rapidly evolving knowledge economy, the key to corporate success goes beyond individual intelligence or diligence. True progress is driven by a workforce that feels safe enough to collaborate openly, take risks, and engage in creative problem solving. However, many workplaces are stifled by a lack of confidence among employees, who are held back by the dread of failure and the critical eyes of judgmental peers or detached superiors. This narrative delves into the concept of psychological safety, the bedrock for fostering a climate where every team member feels empowered to voice their ideas and concerns. Grounded in rigorous research and highlighted by examples from influential companies, this discussion unfolds the significant impact that a supportive and non-judgmental environment can have on an organization's success, and outlines the steps leaders can take to cultivate such an atmosphere. In this exploration, listeners will learn about the lasting influence of childhood dynamics in professional settings, the unexpected benefits of having a leader who embraces their own limitations, and the innovative approach of one company that celebrates failures through parties, transforming them into learning experiences and opportunities for growth. This detailed study demonstrates how creating a fearless organization not only uplifts individual contributors, but propels the whole company towards achieving its full potential. Part 1. Overcoming the Silence Barrier: How Fear of Judgment Stifles Innovation. Picture yourself in a pivotal strategy meeting at work. The challenge on the table is clear, and your boss is eagerly soliciting suggestions from the team. An idea sparks in your mind, but hesitation creeps in. What if your suggestion is deemed inadequate? Choosing safety over risk, you decide to remain silent. This scenario is not uncommon and extends beyond the boardroom to classrooms and even casual conversations around dinner tables. From a young age, we're conditioned to mind the perceptions of our peers, leading us to filter our words to avoid appearing foolish, vulnerable, or out of touch. This ingrained behavior follows us into adulthood, often manifesting as a barrier that stifles our contributions in professional settings. A 2003 study by academics Francis J. Millikan, Elizabeth W. Morrison, and Patricia F. Hewlin illuminates this issue, revealing that 85% of the participants felt hindered from voicing concerns in the workplace. The prevalent fear: being viewed negatively by their superiors. Even established business leaders struggle with this issue. Nilofer Merchant, celebrated by CNBC as a visionary and recipient of the Future Thinker Award from Thinkers 50 in 2013, admitted in a Harvard Business Review article that while at Apple, she often refrained from pointing out issues for fear of being wrong. She famously stated, "I would rather keep my job by staying within the lines than say something and risk looking stupid." This culture of silence is not just a personal dilemma for the employees who conform. It poses a significant threat to organizational innovation and competitiveness. When employees hold back their ideas and insights, companies miss out on invaluable opportunities for growth and development, a precarious position in a business landscape that demands constant innovation. Part 2. The Power of Security. How psychological safety unleashes team potential. Imagine approaching that same strategy meeting we talked about earlier, but this time with the confidence that whatever you propose will be met with encouragement and constructive feedback. Your ideas aren't just accepted, they're welcomed. This is the essence of psychological safety, an environment where team members feel an implicit trust, empowering them to express their thoughts or admit mistakes without fear of retribution or ridicule. The concept of psychological safety first captured attention in the 1990s during a study on medical errors in hospitals. Initially, it appeared that higher-skilled teams were making more mistakes than their less competent counterparts. However, it was soon clear that these teams weren't necessarily more error-prone. They were more transparent in reporting issues, fostering discussions that led to superior methods and safer practices. The implications of psychological safety extend far beyond error reporting. It's a catalyst for unleashing creativity and innovation within teams. A 2012 study by Taiwanese researchers Chi-Cheng Huang and Pinchen Jiang highlighted this when they examined 60 research and development teams who thrived on innovative thinking. Teams operating within a psychologically safe environment demonstrated heightened performance because members weren't held back by the fear of rejection. A prime example of psychological safety's impact can be seen in the operations of Google, one of the world's leading innovators. In 2016, a New York Times article revealed findings from Google's internal research, which identified psychological safety as the top factor contributing to effective team dynamics. This research underscored that the freedom to fail and learn from failure was crucial for innovation. But the importance of psychological safety is magnified when considering global teams with diverse cultural and geographical backgrounds. In 2006, research by Christina Gibson from the University of Australia and Jennifer Gibbs of Rutgers University studied such teams and found that psychological safety significantly enhanced communication. This open communication is vital, as it allows teams to navigate the complexities of differing viewpoints and collaborate effectively despite physical distances. This insight underscores an important lesson. Where there is psychological safety, teams not only share their thoughts more freely, but also develop the resilience and adaptability needed to overcome challenges. In the next section, we will explore the consequences for teams and organizations that lack this fundamental safety. Part 3. When silence damages. The high cost of missing psychological safety. Consider a scenario where you spot a clear error in a presentation prepared by your supervisor, someone known for their harsh responses. The fear of inviting criticism might discourage you from speaking out, leading you to pass over the mistake in silence. While this might seem like a minor oversight, the ramifications of such silence can reverberate dramatically across the entire organization. In many corporate environments, fear is mistakenly regarded as an effective tool for leadership. This approach can foster not just an unpleasant atmosphere, but also pave the way for disastrous outcomes. A profound example of this was observed in Wells Fargo during 2015. At that time, Wells Fargo was celebrated as the leading bank in America, with its community banking division achieving record sales figures by signing customers up for an average of 6 banking products, twice the industry norm. However, these remarkable statistics were steeped in unethical practices. Pressured by a nearly unachievable target of 8 products per customer, employees resorted to creating accounts without customer permissions and misled customers about the nature of the product bundles. These practices, driven by fear of reprimand and job loss rather than genuine customer service, ultimately led to the creation of 2 million unauthorized accounts and credit cards. This scandal resulted in Wells Fargo paying $185 million in settlements. Not all consequences of a fear-driven workplace are as extreme as in Wells Fargo's case, but the undercurrents of such an environment often keep employees from openly discussing challenges, which is crucial for timely and effective problem solving. A striking case of this was Nokia's decline. In the 1990s, Nokia was the leading global cell phone manufacturer. However, by 2012, the company faced a staggering loss of over $2 billion and had seen a 75% erosion of its market value. A 2015 study by Graduate Business School INSEAD revealed that a lack of open communication about competitive threats from rivals like Apple and Google, coupled with an internal fear among engineers and managers to admit technological shortcomings, significantly contributed to Nokia's downfall. These examples from Wells Fargo and Nokia serve as compelling cautionary tales about the perils of a fear-based leadership approach. They underscore the urgent need for cultivating an environment of psychological safety where employees are encouraged to voice concerns and share ideas, free from the threat of ridicule or retribution. As we see in these narratives, the first step in fostering such an environment is eliminating the roots of fear. Part 4. Embracing failure and transforming leadership. Keys to a fearless workplace. From childhood through to our careers, a familiar refrain echoes: always do your best. Seldom does the advice include permission to fail. Yet, it's the acceptance of failure that paves the way toward creating a fearless workplace environment where leaps of innovation can occur. Changing attitudes towards failure can redefine the workplace. By framing missteps as opportunities for growth rather than setbacks, organizations can cultivate a culture where risk-taking and innovation are not just permitted, but encouraged. Leaders play a crucial role in this transformation. When they discuss failure as a common, even necessary step in the learning process, it signals to employees that it's safe to experiment and brainstorm freely. Some of the most forward-thinking companies integrate this philosophy into their core operations. Take Pixar, the animation giant, where co-founder Ed Catmull openly shares with the team that all their successful movies begin as imperfect sketches. This approach demystifies the creation process, diminishing the fear of failure and fostering an open, collaborative environment. Similarly, Krista Quarles, CEO of OpenTable, drives her team to fail fast so they can quickly innovate new solutions without the hang-ups of perfectionism. Educational institutions are also beginning to recognize the importance of this mindset. For instance, Smith College, amongst others in the United States, has begun offering courses specifically geared to help students view failure not as a defeat, but as a necessary step towards greater learning and success. Redefining the traditional roles of leadership complements this shift toward embracing failure. Instead of the all-knowing authoritative figures, successful contemporary leaders act more as guides. They set goals and directions, then step back to let their team's ideas and insights take the lead. One compelling example is Cynthia Carroll, former CEO of the mining giant Anglo American. In her tenure, Cynthia sought to significantly reduce the workplace injuries and fatalities in mines. Rather than imposing strict top-down mandates, she held meetings with thousands of employees to listen to their safety concerns and suggestions. The insights gained from these dialogues informed new safety protocols that ultimately decreased mining fatalities by 62% from 2006 to 2011. This two-pronged approach of embracing failure and redefining leadership roles highlights a potent strategy for businesses aiming to fortify innovation and productivity. By fostering a climate of psychological safety and encouraging open communication, companies can unlock their full potential, paving the path towards industry leadership. Part 5. Encouraging voices. The importance of curiosity in leadership. It's commonly said that nobody likes a know-it-all. This is especially true in the workplace, where a boss who acts as though they have all the answers can prevent others from sharing their own insights or ideas, stifling creativity and engagement. A major pillar of creating a fearless environment is having leaders who are open about their limitations and knowledge gaps. This admission creates a space where employees feel valued and understood, encouraging them to step forward with their contributions. Take Anne Mulcahy, the former CEO of Xerox, for example. Known affectionately as the Master of I Don't Know, her willingness to acknowledge her uncertainties played a crucial role in reviving Xerox from the brink of bankruptcy. Her openness encouraged employees to actively participate in solving the company's challenges, demonstrating the power of vulnerability in leadership. However, fostering a culture of engagement involves more than a leader admitting they don't have all the answers. It also requires them to ask questions in a way that genuinely values employees' inputs. This can be achieved by steering clear of simple yes or no questions and instead posing inquiries that spark deeper thinking and creative solutions. Leaders must also understand the context of their questions. For broader insights, ask what might be missing from a discussion or invite people with differing viewpoints to contribute. For in-depth understanding, encourage explanations or specific examples to support ideas. Moreover, to further support a culture of participation, organizations can implement formal structures for sharing information, such as workshops, focus groups, or regular meetings specifically designed for open dialogue. Such was the approach taken by Groupe Danone. The food company began organizing conferences to facilitate cross-departmental information sharing, which not only sparked new ideas, but also made employees more comfortable with voicing their thoughts and seeking assistance. The initial engagements and the subsequent feedback loops are crucial for maintaining this culture of psychological safety, making it clear that everyone's contributions are not only heard, but also valued. This reinforces an environment where creativity and collaboration can thrive, guided by leaders who are truly curious and invested in their team's growth and success. Part 6. Nurturing Courage. How leaders should respond to risk-taking and feedback. Consider a classroom where a teacher asks a group of 5-year-olds to identify a shape drawn on the chalkboard. A child eagerly shouts out an answer, but gets it wrong and is sharply rebuked. Chances are that child might think twice before answering again. Similarly, in the workplace, the way leaders respond to employee inputs can significantly influence their willingness to speak up or take risks in the future. A constructive response can reinforce a culture of psychological safety, while a negative reaction can stifle participation and innovation. Acknowledgement is the first step in fostering this environment. Recognizing the courage it takes to speak up or try something new, leaders should always begin by thanking team members for their contributions, regardless of the outcome. For example, a nurse who questions a doctor's treatment plan is taking a professional risk. If the doctor responds with gratitude for the nurse's vigilance before explaining her rationale, it not only reassures the nurse, but also encourages him to continue voicing his concerns in the future. Handling failures also requires thoughtful differentiation. Not all mistakes are created equal, and recognizing the type of failure can guide the appropriate response. For innovative attempts that don't pan out as hoped, the focus should be on what can be learned from the experience. A remarkable example of this approach is the pharmaceutical company Eli Lilly, which holds celebrations for failed experiments to underscore their value in the learning process. Conversely, preventable failures, those that occur from negligence or ignoring established protocols, need a different handling. Addressing these failures might involve additional training or system adjustments to prevent recurrence. However, more severe consequences, such as sanctions or even termination, might be necessary when failures result from willful disregard of company policies or values. By ensuring that feedback and consequences are consistently fair and aligned with organizational values, leaders can maintain a strong sense of psychological safety. This environment empowers employees to continue engaging in risk-taking and open communication, essential for innovation and growth. Part 7. Empowering change from any position. creating a fearless workplace without being in charge. Have you ever daydreamed about making grand changes if you ruled the world for a day? It's a thrilling thought. Yet back in reality, we often feel powerless to implement change, especially if we aren't in positions of authority. The same can be true in our workplaces where hierarchy can make us feel our influence is limited. Fortunately, fostering a fearless work environment doesn't solely rest on the shoulders of those at the top. Regardless of your position, there are impactful steps you can take to cultivate a culture of psychological safety. Start by demonstrating genuine interest in your colleagues' ideas and thoughts. Make it a habit to solicit their input, ensuring to direct questions to specific individuals to encourage their participation. For instance, after expressing your viewpoint in a meeting, you could facilitate further discussion by asking a coworker for their perspective. Active listening plays a crucial role in this process. When a colleague speaks up, give them your full attention. Show respect for their contributions by listening intently, acknowledging their input, and, when appropriate, building upon their ideas. This not only validates their effort, but also enhances the collective brainstorming process. Another key element is openness about one's vulnerabilities. Freely admitting when you need help, acknowledging your uncertainties, or owning up to a mistake can set a powerful example for others. Use phrases like, "I need help," or "I don't know," to normalize these admissions in the workplace. Moreover, regularly inquire about others' challenges and offer your support, reinforcing a collaborative and supportive work culture. These actions, though seemingly small, can have a profound effect. They signal to others that it's safe to express ideas, ask for help, and take risks. Over time, this environment enables everyone to contribute to their fullest potential, showing that you don't need to be at the helm to steer your workplace towards a more open and fearless future. Final summary. Success in today's work landscape is not just about individual competence, but also about the ability to engage in dynamic, risk-taking conversations that spur innovation. However, achieving this is challenging in environments where fear and a lack of support prevail. When both leaders and peers actively encourage diverse voices to contribute and view failures as learning opportunities, they cultivate a workplace where creativity and collaboration flourish, unlocking the true potential of every team member. Thank you for joining me today on this journey of learning and discovery as we explored the insights of another thought-provoking book in our growing library of knowledge. If you've enjoyed our time together, please take a moment to follow our podcast, give us a 5-star rating, and share 20-minute books with other knowledge seekers. Your support truly means a lot. Don't forget to join me again in the next episode, where we will delve into another enriching book. Until then, happy reading and happy listening.